Hello everyone, this is Heath the Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of Fire Emblem Heroes. Here we are on the debut day of Legendary's Xander, and of course his banner. So, we all know what time it is. That's right, it's time to get memed on. So, of course, we are trying to get Legendary Sigurd. We currently have him at +7 here. There we go. Game lagged there for a second. Of course, this is primarily for win season scoring, since we did pick up quite a few of him while going for Legendary Nana and Legendary Lilona at the same time when the 3 cabs were all shared focus. So here we are today with 888 orbs. We'll see what we get today. The biggest dud of the shared focus for us will of course be Lift, because, well, we already have a +10, and his fodder is not that amazing, but of course we can always hope in the future that his remix will give him better fodder, capital. And then, of course, if we get more Regans, that's actually really good for us, because that will allow us to once again compete for staying in tier 21 Mjolnir Strike permanently. At least one more Regan will do it, but the more we get, the easier it will be for us to stay longer during Astra Major. But anyways, like tradition, we're going to meme by summoning the full circle. We'll start bottom right because it's green, so maybe we get Xander. But if we don't see any reds in the circle, we'll probably not entirely decide what color to go for, because they're all kind of meh in all their own respects. So it might just be a first come first serve, or on a case by case basis. There we go. For some reason I wanted to say first come first serve. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But with 888 orbs, we do have reasonably good odds of pulling 3 Legendary Sigurds. It's just a matter of how many it will take, how many orbs it'll actually take. Ideally, I would say 600 tops would be great for us, but whatever happens, happens. We can't complain because we're free to play something. Oh boy. But we do get Kent. That's cool. First Kent. Very nice. Although we don't really farm HM anymore. Plus attack. Not bad, not bad. And then last orb here. Legendary Xander as a unit is fine. The problem is he just won't last, because his only real gimmick is of course having no follow-up, of course the -1 special acceleration trigger shenanigans. I did not say that very well, but the HP healing after combat's fine. Chivalry is perfectly fine for general modes, because of course every unit typically will start at 100% HP. So at least Chivalry can proc in those instances. Let's say in cases like Ether Raid's defense, when all of your units are attacking into a unit, they're not necessarily going to be super high in HP always, so that's just a random example. But I think we'll go blue if we don't see red, and then probably green after that, followed by colorless. Alright, quick start. We get one of the 3 remaining Legendary Sigurd. Very nice. I think one of the things I've been thinking about for a while is, if we get 3 Legendary Sigurds and 0 Regans, do I gamble and keep pulling to try and get at least 1 Regan? Don't know. Oh no. Well, we get, I'm just gonna call him Karel today. Obviously, he's definitely, he never really was ever meta. He just basically came out with Woodell Plus and people were hyped for that. And of course that hype didn't last very long. But of course the problem with Woodell Plus is you actually have to proc your special. Gosh dang, we are off to a hot start. Alright, first lift. Of course we all know we had to get him. Not bad IVs though. Not bad. We could meme and have gone for the rest of the circle to get the legendary. Do we want to go blue or green? The thing is, we would probably appreciate more of picking up any of the units in blue than green. So I think we'll go blue. Because if we get not, that's either A, a not merge, or 2, we could do a double not if we feel like it. Or speaking of that, but if we get Uller, we don't have Uller, so that's great. And then if we pick up Ascended Ishtar, it's just straight up a free, it's not trait free. Ascended Floret? What is it called? It's something Floret. Whereas in green, picking up another H would be fine for either A fodder or 2 merging up. I currently have minus speed on her, which is not great. Freya, we don't have her, and then of course Legendary Xander would probably just for the heck of it. But we're off to a wild start here, gotta say. It almost always feels that way. We might run into the scenario where we get 2 Legendary Sigurds super quickly, and then it takes forever to get the 3rd one, but whatever goes, goes. That's why we have to stockpile so many orbs. If we do end up getting our 3 Legendary Sigurds very quickly though, I think we'll be using a lot of our orbs for either the current double special heroes banner, or going either duo or duo dagger. I'm leaning more towards duo crom more than duo dagger, but it's kind of like if we somehow don't see reds and a green is available, then we'll go green, because Valentine Lucina is also a pretty solid unit. Or we keep our orbs in preparation for the next Milo focus, with the point of plus 10ing there, because you know we have to meme as free to play and get the ultimate max scoring offense shenanigans going as free to play just for the memes. But yeah, so far we are on an absolute blazing pace right now. We'll go blue again. I think, yeah, I'd prefer more, even though we don't summon green a lot, I think I'd rather get the value for my blue orbs if it's going to be a focus unit versus the green orb. I don't know. That's hard. That's kind of hard to say, but for sure I get value out of any of the blue focus units I get. And we're not getting reds now, but considering we got 2 Legendary Sigurds super quickly, not complaining. We're not complaining at all. In fact, technically, if you want to be a little copious about it, given the amount of orbs we burned last time during the Legendary Nana, Legendary Lilna, and Legendary Sigurd shared focus, given the amount of Legendary Sigurds we got for the number of orbs we put in, technically with the amount we just got now, we add the total together, then it's more reasonable to be more about average, but that's not how the game works, so it's interesting to think about though. Speaking of going back to Legendary Xander though, yeah, we completed his Abyssal map pretty quickly, so I'll have to record that video at some point. Wasn't too difficult, we just had to be pretty creative with how Nino and Adult Tiki position themselves for subsequent enemies coming in, as well as Legendary Azura and Brave Veronica. All the positioning is pretty important. Another, I think it's pronounced Skaha or something. I'm not great with pronunciation. But another plus attack one. I think my current one's plus attack minus HP. And we're just gonna keep trucking along here. No red orbs once again. Feels bad, man. It's kind of interesting that we're not getting as many red orbs consistently. Getting more larger batches of red orbs together, which I don't know what I prefer. Just from a psychological standpoint, not an objective standpoint of maximizing your orbs for picking up the focus units, but yeah. If we get a legendary Sigurd pretty soon here to cap it off, not entirely sure what I'll do. Because so the thing with Astra Major Mjolnir Strike is that it got hyperinflated, I'm pretty darn sure, by Thor being on A Hero Rises. So Astra Major is the current highest cutoffs consistently to stay during the major season. I believe it's 862, if I'm not mistaken. I believe I currently score 860. And that's with my plus 10 Plumeria, plus 10 Duma, plus 10 Lip, and I think I'm using Regan right now. So it's not like we're that short on it's not like we're that short on our scoring. It's just that most of our scoring is more based off of our Anima Mythics, which only get effectively 5 merges of extra scoring during Astra Major, compared to like Thor, who gets the full plus 10 merges worth of score. So yeah, the cutoff used to be exactly 860, and then it was like 858 or something once our Hero Rises happened. I think even when Elamine showed up and whatnot, yeah, it went up to 862. And that's why we haven't been able to stay in tier 21 Mjolnir Strike consistently anymore. So if we get at least one Regan here, I can merge my free-to-play Regan that I've been holding on to the whole time, because back in the day, people used to do the double Regan shenanigans, so I thought that would be fun to do. I think I only ever did it once for like one match, and that was it. So yeah, I didn't get to experience the double Regan shenanigans, but I don't think it's really worth it at this stage of the game. Especially now that more and more people are getting Kanto control on their Anima defenses. Kind of a problem for Regan. But at the end of the day, if we only get one more Regan, it's not going to last us that long, because we'll be sitting at the cutoff score, and it doesn't take that much to score 2 more points. Of course, the key is that a bunch of people who are scoring that at currently 862 would have to increase their scoring in order to raise the cutoff to 864 to stay consistently during Astra Major, but I mean, it's just for the memes. The average free-to-play player probably should not be doing what I'm doing and stockpiling thousands of orbs to summon on Legendary and Mythic Heroes banners, because especially when you're a newer player, you don't have the amount of resources that I had when I started doing the shenanigan back in early 2020, I want to say. It might have started a little before that, but I can't be certain. Because back then, of course, I've been playing pretty close to launch. I don't know exactly when I started, but I know it was at least, it's not a good range, but the first month of launch, so February, what was that, 2017? Jeez, it's been over 5 years playing this game. But yeah, from when I started the game back then to 2020, that's about 3 years worth of resources. So I had plenty of fodder and stuff to spare. So I could afford to just casually skip banners, only free summon, when free summons, of course, were released, and just cruise along, not use that much fodder, and pretty much get away with it, because I had the resources. Whereas someone who's just starting the game now, of course, when you start the game, if you clear all the story, paralogs, and all of the content, you do get thousands of orbs. So that's a great start already. But the problem is you don't have the fodder. So you do struggle in that respect of, ooh, this is a ridiculously good circle for us if we pull a 5-star here. Even though it's not our usual 10%, we'll just something. But you just don't have the I keep saying it, but you just don't have as many resources. So it's more difficult to make the decisions that I make when you have fewer resources to rely on. At that point, you know, I had some score bots and stuff built up with feathers, and so I could still do well in a bunch of the modes without too much investment, whereas a completely new player, you have to invest a bit into building up score bots or reasonably strong units to start scoring well in modes like arena and whatnot if you want to start building up an economy of getting more feathers, more orbs, and all of that. But you know, once you do get to my point, it is reasonable. It's just so mean. Oh no. 2 lifts. We already have extra lifts, so he really is the dud here, but we have summoned before, and when there were dud focuses, there's plenty of dud units in our reserves now. I have an entire, I don't know what it's called, I'll just call it a box. I think it's called group or something, in reserves for exclusively for all the extra copies of units I have. Because I don't want to necessarily make them into combat manual, because for example, say dancers especially, it's sometimes nice to have multiple copies of the same dancer. Prime example for me is like Legendary Azura. Her utility is still useful to this day, and her remix definitely helped her out a bit. Not as much as I would have liked, but let's take what we can get. If we pull a 5-star in these last 2 red orbs, I think we might pull the green orb for the memes, but otherwise we won't. But of course, we started off ridiculously strong, and naturally, we're probably going to have to burn a good amount of orbs to get the last legendary Sigurd. If we don't see Regan, yeah, I don't know. The thing is, you have to think about not the best case scenario, but the worst case scenario, which would be getting more lifts. Don't know if I would want to do that. I don't know why the game lagged there. But also, I decided to have the time up on the top left, just so when if we have to do barracks management or anything, I just get a reference for just how long it took for me overall to do the summoning session. Thought that would be fun for absolutely no reason. But yeah, if we had stopped on our second legendary Sigurd there, our rates would have been absolutely insane. They're still insane, but can't complain. Can't complain. Alright. We're about 170 orbs in now, and we have 4 focus heroes, which is pretty solid. I usually say about 50 to 60 orbs per 5 stars the average, which is technically not true. But oh man, now we can spark with our Fave Pass Kappa. Yeah, the Fave Pass sparking thing is really nice for people who have Fave Pass. It does significantly reduce the cost on average to +10. Heroes on banners like these legendary heroes banners or mythic banners or even the new seasonal banners where the rates can be abysmal when you're trying to specifically snipe one, and you do not care at all for the other two units sharing focus. That's kind of the dilemma as well with us, is these kind of shared focuses are not ideal, but we still summon on them because we kind of don't want to keep waiting for the optimal shared focus, because it's one, going to probably take a long time from now until when Legendary Sigurd shows up again. And by a long time, I do mean just 5 to 6 months. That is a long time in the respect of, say, we plus 10 Legendary Sigurd now versus 5, 6, 7 months down the line. In those 5, 6, 7 months, you know, we can do things with a plus 10 Legendary Sigurd versus our plus 7 one. And we can tangibly probably get more rewards as a result. So is it worth waiting that many months to get more value out of your orbs? Probably yes, but the recurring problem right now with Legendary Mythic heroes is a lot of them, the rotation's so slow, it's like every 5, 6 months, maybe 4 months on occasion. I don't really pay attention to the revival schedules, not gonna lie, but it just takes so long to get a really nice focus, and it just so happens for us, a lot of the times, really nice shared focus on Legendary and Mythic Heroes banners would occur pretty close to each other, like within 1 to 2 months apart from each other, and you can't stockpile enough orbs for that. Especially if you're trying to plus 10 a Legendary Mythic Hero from scratch, you at least gotta bring about 2,000 orbs, and even then, it's usually a coin flip-ish. It's not exactly a coin flip, but it's certainly pretty oof, to say the least. To even bring in 2,000 orbs, you're definitely not guaranteed to pick up or come out with 11 copies of the specific focus unit you wanted. So, don't know how to balance the cost between that, because, for example, when we were going plus 10 Peony, we ended up summoning for Peony on a banner with Forgotry and Brave Dimitri both shared focus, which, in terms of unit value, pretty terrible, but having the Gotries and Brave Dimitris has helped me later on, just because Brave Dimitri is fodder. Same for Gotry, and so overall, at least I got something out of those units being shared focus, but looks like we might get Pity Broken here at 9.5% on a jank circle. We've been seeing a good amount of greens though, not gonna lie. Game's totally not rigging us. I think that's our first Karen, right? I was going for Forma Dancer Eld again. Kept getting allied lands. I was like, it's on a 4-star hero, let's not. But I believe this is our first one, indeed. So that's great. Eventually we can start foddering her off again. If we do end up getting a 5-star here, I don't think we summon the rest of the circle. I don't know, it's really hard. If it's Legendary Sigurd, we might... I don't know if I want to greed for another Regan, because again, the only purpose of that would be for Mjolnir Strike, which, let's be real, it's not really worth it. If you have to go out of your way investing orbs and whatnot, tons of orbs, to specifically do better in Mjolnir Strike, you're probably doing something wrong. It would be more for Aetherraid's offense, and even at that point, we're already well into Astra season in terms of scoring, so the one merge is kind of hard. I guess it would be 2 merges. So you definitely lose out quite a bit there. speaking of losing out, we're losing out on our luck sacking because now we're about 240 orbs in. 10%, and we're still going up from the looks of it. So we'll see if we get another lift. It's probably going to happen eventually one of these times. Let's hope it's not this time. We get Regan, not the end of the world. This is a ridiculous circle. we got Pity Broken here. I don't know if we want to. Again, if we pick up any of the blue focus units, it's not terrible. Because, for example, we pick up more knots. I don't necessarily want to merge her up. She actually has attack speed menace and distant counter, which are both more the attack speed menace, honestly, over distant counter. But for us, where we don't summon for a lot of fodder, especially 300 SP skill fodder or 400 SP assist fodder, yeah, it's kind of a big deal to get those that kind of fodder along the way. But I think we might merge knot once, or we could run double knot. I think double knot's probably better in general. But one merge isn't really going to help her combat on defense. And we're not really going to plus 10 her for arena purposes. So there's no use for her. We're pretty much already set on Dark Major because there's not that many Dark Mythics. There's really only Medius that people really care for to max out. So here goes our pity rate. Just keep going up. Whoop. But again, as funny as it sounds, we're budgeting 600 orbs, which is essentially a metric of kind of the, it's not really worst case scenario, but it's the scenario where approximately 60 orbs per 5-star. There's about 3 shared focus, so you round it up a little to about 200 orbs per copy of the shared focus unit, specific shared focus unit you want on one of these banners, and there you go, kind of a deal. That's where we get the 600 from. And we've only spent about 200. We already have 2, which, to be fair, is not bad, not great. I think it's better than average, though. I could be wrong on that. We did get a few canes so far. I'd like to get some crumbs just for more ether fodder, but now we're at 11% on it. Pretty garbage circle for us. It's time to get pity broken. Alright, it's just all good. Ooh boy. This is literally our summoning session on legendary mythic heroes with a reasonably large amount of orbs in a nutshell. So it's usually we have hot streaks, cold streaks. It usually starts off pretty fire recently, and then it just like terrible drought streaks or terrible. you get the focus unit you didn't want. Kind of a deal. It's 11%. Definitely worse than average. Most people summoning, trying to just go for a 5-star on this banner, will not get to 11%. So that's not great for us. That's why we have our orbs. I will have to check though to see when Nilla's coming back, and if the shared focus looks remotely okay. If it's absolute hot garbage, I think we're just gonna wait. But it would be nice to have Nilla at plus 10, because one issue right now is in Arena, I typically use a lot of Mythic heroes for score botting. So I use regularly Duma, Lift, Plumeria from Astra Anima, and then from Light Season, I only really have Peony for good scoring. Brahmamon's plus 10, but his BST is not great. Also yet another leaf. And air again, same deal, not the greatest BST. So we don't have that many options during light and dark. For score body, if we had Milla at least, then we could do our classic 1 legendary hero, the 2 mythics, and then someone else, which in arena would be the bonus unit, probably. And in arena assault, we could just use a standard 1 standard plus 170 BST armor score bot that we have. Again, not a great circle here, but if we do end up getting pity broken here, especially by Lift, we will copium and summon the rest of the circle, but no, it's just Sophia. But, oh boy, we might actually get to 12% at this rate. This circle would be interesting if we got pity broken. Lots of green. I wonder why. I don't think this is very typical for us to see so many greens in a circle. I don't feel like that should be happening. But, I mean, who knows? Gotcha is gotcha. You have to objectively look at how your overall summons went to understand, you know, was it actually really strange, fortunate luck in quotes because we're not actually going for prioritizing green, or was it just your hindsight bias or whatever, only remembering those few instances where you got those circles with multiple greens. But I think we've had more than several circles with multiple greens, which honestly is more circles with 3+ green orbs than I usually get in an entire summoning session. I feel like. Speaking of which, here we are again. 3 green orbs. I don't know what the deal is, but we're at 12%. Definitely a lot of people summoning for just 1 5-star at this point. Will not get to this point. At least if I remember it correctly. I could be. I think most players will get as far as up to like 10%. That's my usual metric. And then the rest of the not so fortunate folks like us here, we will go past 10% for about 330-ish orbs in. And now our rates are definitely falling off because of this massive pity rate. And it's just going up still. The hot streak goes straight into the cold streak, probably because we're summoning with much fewer orbs, and the game obviously totally knows that we are going for plus 10 legendary cigarettes, so the game is preparing us to get massive pity rate to specifically pull Lit. And then we summon the rest of the circle for copium reasons and get only 3 and 4 stars. That's something that happens quite a lot for anyone who's been watching our mass summonings before. Oh gosh. So statistically, choosing the green orb gives us a higher chance of getting pity broken. But I feel like if we choose colors, we're gonna get memed on anyways. Let's get memed on. Let's get memed on. This is not gonna be good. No. Yep. Well, I lied. I did say it was coming. But we don't have Freya, so at least there's that. And now we will just copium summon the rest of the circle for no reason. So that is very unfortunate. If we can get another 5-star out of here, that would be great. But again, for anyone who's watched a lot of my mass summoning shenanigans, when we build up high pity rate on legendary and mythic hero banners, it usually ends up being a single 5-star to break the pity rate. So if we can get more than one, that's a win for us any day of the week. But I don't think it's gonna happen. The curse probably continues. But Freya, I mean, don't really care about her IVs. So just having her is nice as a bonus unit. If we want to actually do well during light season in terms of scoring. But of course, when we do get plus 10 Milla, even if we don't run a bonus unit, we just use our usual meme squad, it will literally just be still plus 200 offense scoring, which is still really strong. We just have to make sure to not lose a lot of units. And once again, the curse happens. Only one 5-star at a reasonably high pity rate. So that's unfortunate. Again, I told you the logic. If we wanted to not get pity broken, we would have summoned the bottom right colorless orb. It would be summoned bottom right for the memes. But you heard it from myself. Let's get meme done. And we did. So that's unfortunate. But, you know, we could just end it off with a figure here for me. But no. We're gonna keep suffering. Again, we still have about 300 orbs to go before I start getting concerned that we haven't gotten our final legendary figure yet, which is kind of ridiculous to think about, but that's how bad legendary heroes banners can be. That's why we have to stockpile large amounts of orbs. But even if we have leftovers here, if the Milla's next return is coming within the next 2 or 3 months, I might have to decline summoning on double special heroes. I don't, but we'll see. We'll have to see how much we want to gamble for the last 2 Milla copies. Because at that point, I'd probably want at least 2 months worth of orbs, about 600-ish orbs. For that, just to be on the safer side. If I wanted to be ultra safe, then I would bring about 800. If you do not get 2 copies of your focus unit that you want in 800 orbs, that's pretty yikes. But I've had instances before where it's taken me 700-800 orbs to just get 1 copy of a focus unit. Not necessarily the one I wanted, but just going back and looking at my mass summoning stream. There's plenty of times where there's just a fat dead streak of not picking up one of the focus units. It happens every time. It's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, at least we have Freya now, which is cool. Can't complain. But I think we have all the... It's more important, though, for us to have all the defense mythics rather than the offense mythics, because one, especially for light season, we kind of don't care about our offense scoring because we have so many merges in Air Peony and Milla. And then I guess we have Ash as well, but I don't know if I want to plus 10 Ash. But it might just be like if she's if she's shared focus with a colorless unit and I want to merge up with, sure. But I don't think we're gonna actively go for plus 10 Ash. I don't think it's worth it. But leave times 2. I wonder what the odds of that are. This is quite the interesting summoning session. But there we go, last one. Alright, I had a feeling this was gonna happen. So overall, do we want to summon the rest of the circle? I'm not really inclined to. Let's just summon on the blue one for the heck of it. Kinda don't really care about most of the units in Follows. Although August is pretty fun. Especially in modes like Summoner Duels, where sacking units is... I just did it for the memes, by the way. The odds of that actually being a 5-star are not very great. So those are our final legendary stickers, because yeah, like Legendary Leaf, don't really feel like we're gonna plus 10 them at any point. Mime as well, not particularly great. It would be more for fodder, but I don't have Mime yet, so kind of a problem there. So overall, it looks like we used 403 orbs, which is okay. I think that's worse than that. I'll have to see. That's probably close to average-ish, but let's go ahead and merge up our figures here. IV's all kind of interesting, to say the least. But yep, now we have at least one legendary hero from every season at plus 10, which totally makes us a whale, Kappa. But the one distinct advantage of this now compared to a few years, or even like a year ago, is because of the new arena change, where legendary heroes are consistently on rotation in a way where typically their season does align, their legendary blessing season aligns with their current arena season. It's nice for when a really strong legendary hero is bonus and you can double stack the blessings with your own maxed out scoring legendary hero. You can really boost your score up that way. But I mean, other than that, I don't think we're going to go for the Regan copy. I think that's being too greedy. Chances are, maybe we would pull it within the next 20 or so orbs, or not 20, 50 or so orbs, because if you think about it, we've already spent 403 orbs and haven't gotten one yet. So, if we were trying to go for just one Regan on this banner, that would be unfortunate as heck. But we did end up getting our +10 Legendary Sigurd, but pretty interesting haul to say the least. Lots of common units. We got some new units though. Always appreciate that. Some good fodder as well. Can never have too much good fodder. But other than that, I don't think there's any more free summons on any banners that we can do here. And if there were, we would have probably done it before starting our summoning. So yeah, overall, I think actually I'll pause the video and we'll be back just to briefly go over overall stats. Alright, we're back. So overall, the number of actual 5 stars, not including the 4-star special focus. We had the 3 Sigurds, we had Freya here, we had the 2 lifts somewhere. There's 1, there's 2, and then there's not. Overall, that is 7 if I did that correctly in my head. And so for the 408 orbs we used, about 58 orbs of 5-star, which is slightly worse than average, but we'll take it because we got that massive 12% drought of doom. And of course these are all approximations. I like doing my approximations. So for not getting any Regans in 408 orbs, that's about currently 87th percentile. So close to 90th percentile, aka 1 in 10 people ended up being like me. So not great there. If we wanted to copium and keep summoning for Regan, chances are we'd probably get her pretty soon, but the game can meme and stretch it out all the way to 800-ish orbs and still not getting a focus unit. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to gamble it. It's not worth it. At the end of the day, we're just meme flexing that we're in tier 21 Wheeler Strike permanently. We did do it for quite a few seasons in a row, so there's that. I think the bigger flex, rather than that, is just actually the amount of +10 legendary and mythic heroes we have. And that's literally just stockpiling basically almost every single free-to-play orb from like 2020 till now. And that's thousands and thousands of orbs that goes into getting our +10 legendary Sigurd here. And then you have +10 legendary Lilina, Lumeria, Fiorm, legendary Crom, legendary Julia, Peony, legendary Azura, Duma, Ramamon, Air. And there's definitely some other mythics that are pretty close, of course, like our +8 Milla. So we definitely have a good amount for the amount of orbs we use. I'd say it's all right. We definitely have luck sacked plenty, on our mass summonings on Legendary and Mythic Heroes banners overall, so I can't complain where we're at. For the amount of lifts we picked up, 2 of them, about 62nd percentile, which is fine. It's about close enough to average that I care for. I'm grateful that we didn't get too many lifts because I think if we go to the extra section, I don't actually remember how many. Oh, do we only have 1 extra lift? Okay, we might not have as many lifts as I thought we had, so that's great. Unless we're hiding more lifts in here. I don't see anything. Alright, why is Drog here? He's a 4-star. We're moving him on the video. But yeah, if you're curious, I just organize by rarity and color for most of them, and then I use these 3 reserves for our super mass summoning sessions for quick toss them somewhere and keep summoning kind of deal. So, but last but not least, I'm clearly brain dead as heck, but for our 3 legendary stickers, we actually ended up at 37th percentile, so we did reasonably better than average, which is to be expected, granted the amount of orbs it took us to get the first 2. Yeah, should not have been a surprise, but overall, pretty happy we didn't get a Regan, so we can't meme flex and Mjolnir strike, but I'm sure the time will come again when we can actually meme and tier 21 Mjolnir strike for indefinitely, hopefully. But until then, that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching. As always, this is Ether Dragon, and hope to see you all next time. Bye!